life specifically.
Yes.
Well, what are you excited to do? It must be representative of your excitement if it is going to be something that will play out in a way that is beneficial to you. Yes?
Yes.
Well, what would you like to act on?
Make more money.
Make more money? That's what you want the business to be about?
No, actually I don't.
Well, thank you. So you see, you have said something that's actually not representative of your excitement. You've just described nothing more than a side effect. What actually excites you to do?
Help people.
In what way does it excite you to do so?
See them happy.
By doing what?
Well, whatever makes them happy.
Which would be what? You are allowed to determine specifically in what way you would like to participate that might give them an opportunity to choose to be happy. So is there some particular methodology or expression that would be representative of your happiness?
Not that I can think of right now.
All right, well then when you think of it, act on it to the best of your ability with absolutely no insistence on what the outcome ought to look like. Yes?
Yes.
That's how it works. And the idea of being supported is to relax your definition of abundance so that money can be there when it needs to be, but so that other forms of abundance can be there when money isn't necessarily the path of least resistance.
But let's say you're really happy playing basketball every day.
All right.
But you can't support.
How do you know?
So you just have to act on faith.
You act on knowledge that by acting on what is your highest excitement at any given moment, which probably won't necessarily mean you're playing basketball every day, let the excitement organize what will actually work for you every day, because excitement is the organizing principle. But nevertheless, whatever it is, if it is truly the most exciting thing you can do at every moment, to the best of your ability, with no assumption of the outcome, something will happen synchronistically to give you an opportunity to be supported by the things that you're doing that are representative of your excitement.
I see. So just go with the flow.
Let me give you a story. You may or may not have heard this story before, but it is something that occurred to someone on your planet, so you will understand that I'm not just making up an idea. This is something that actually worked for a physical person on your planet, and this will act as an illustration of what we are discussing. Did you hear us tell the story about the mother that loved to tell stories to her children?
No.
This mother, her greatest joy in life was telling stories to her children, making stories up for them. It was so exciting to her to do this that she made fantastic stories. Her imagination knew no bounds, and her children were enthralled, mesmerized by the stories that she would create, because so free was her imagination. And so excited was she to tell these stories and make them up. The stories were so thrilling that the children started to invite their own friends over to listen to the stories. The stories were so thrilling that the friends of her children started to invite their parents over to tell the stories. The stories were so thrilling that the parents started offering to pay her to come to groups to tell stories. Now, many people on your planet would have thought that a mother just telling stories to her children would never be a way that she could possibly support herself. Yet that's exactly what happened. Because she was willing to act on her excitement and to know that in some way, shape, or form, her ability to continue to express her highest excitement would be supported in whatever way that needed to be it money or be it other forms of abundance. So the idea, however, is that on any given day, to use your example, the most exciting thing you might find that you would like to do might be to play basketball. However, you may also find that in the same day, suddenly, the excitement to play basketball may wane. And when it then wanes and lowers and lessens, you may look around at all the opportunities available to you at that moment and say, well, all right, the excitement has kind of gone out of that idea, but where has it gone? What now is the most exciting thing I could act on out of all the options available to me at this moment? Maybe that at that moment you will find that you are hungry. And thus then having lunch or having lunch with a friend would be the most exciting thing you can imagine doing. Act on it to the best of your ability with no assumption or insistence or expectation as to what the outcome should be. Just act on it to the best of your ability if that is the thing that actually contains the highest excitement at that moment. Because you never know where it's actually going to lead you. But you will know, generally, that it will always lead you to another circumstance and situation that will provide you the opportunity to continue to act on your highest excitement and allow your excitement to expand. You see, excitement is not only the driving engine of your life, but it is the organizing principle of your life. And it is the complete toolkit of your life. And when you act on it knowing that that's what it is, you will know that no matter what winding path it may lead you on, it is always going to be the quickest path because it's the path of least resistance. And it will always lead you into the situations and circumstances and synchronistic encounters with people that are going to be the encounters and the timings that actually work best for you and will bring to you other opportunities and open other doorways for other expressions of your excitement. This is a self-fulfilling kit. That's how it works. At every given moment, step by step, on whatever scale it occurs, just choose the opportunity made available to you by your life that contains the highest excitement. Act on it to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, with no assumption or insistence or expectation as to what the outcome ought to be. And when you are done with that, then choose the next most exciting thing that your life presents to you as an opportunity you have the ability to act on. In coming to this conversation today, were you not acting on your excitement?
That was the most exciting thing.
Then that's all you need to keep doing, yes?
Yes.
When you leave this conversation, you will look and say, there are a number of opportunities available to me. I can go here, I can go there, I can do this, I can do that. Out of all the options that you are aware of, pick the one that feels most exciting, that you have the greatest ability to act on. And act on it. And just keep doing that. And that's all you need to do. When we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement, it doesn't have to be expressed as a career, a project, or any long-term arrangement. We mean literally moment to moment to moment. Every moment you're offered options. I can leave, I can go, I can stay, I can eat, I can read, I can jump, I can walk, I can play, I can go to the movies, I can do this, I can drive my car, I can fly, I can go here, I can go there. Pick the one that is the most exciting one you have some ability to take action on, and take action as far as you can. And that's as far as you need to take it. And then act on the next most exciting thing, and the next, and the next, and the next, in the same way, one after another, step by step, until the end of the day when you feel that you are excited about going to sleep because you're tired, and you will know that whatever didn't get done that day didn't need to be done. Because excitement, as we said, is not only the driving engine in the toolkit, it's the organizing principle. And if you're always acting on it fully, truly, to the best of your ability, with no expectation for what the outcome ought to be, then it will show you exactly in the course of any given day how many things need to be acted upon. And what doesn't get acted upon didn't need to be acted upon that day. That's how it works. It's a complete kit. Trust it. Act on it. All right?
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes.
And when you do that, if there then is an expression, a broader expression, a bigger expression of your excitement, a career, a project, what have you, by just acting on the little steps, they will lead you to the bigger opportunities, because all excitement is connected. It doesn't matter what package the excitement comes in. It's not about how it looks. As you people on your planet say, you cannot judge a book by the cover. So don't assume that just because something doesn't look like you expected it to look, if it actually contains the excitement, act on it, because the excitement is telling you that it's actually connected to any other expression of your excitement that would also come to you, and it may lead you there in an unexpected way. Again, it doesn't matter if your path is winding. If it's the path of least resistance, the path that's true for you, which you would know it is by simply acting on the excitement that it brings you, then it's actually the quickest path. Even if there is a path that is shorter and straighter, if it's not the path of least resistance, it will be the more difficult and longer path than one that may be many times longer and much more winding, but if it's the path of least resistance, it will actually be the quicker path because there's no resistance. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Then at this timing, we will express our deep appreciation and gratitude to each and every one of you for the co-creation of this interaction.
A little say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? We will once again thank each and every one of you, individually and collectively, for the establishment of this link on this day of your time. We would like to discuss a notion, a reflection, a perspective, and an idea that we could ostensibly label the missile of anger. The idea is that more often than not, when you find yourselves experiencing what you call anger, you will recognize, if you take the time to look at it, that the concept of anger, when expressed, as we have said many times, naturally, is usually not experienced for longer than about 15 of your seconds. Longer than that, it becomes judgment. The idea, therefore, is that it can devolve into all the different forms of judgment connected to the energy of anger, such as hate. The idea, therefore, is to recognize that the original adrenaline rush that you may experience in any given situation when it is presented to you is simply the energy of alignment, the alignment of your idea of yourself, your definition of yourself, what it is you prefer to call yourself to be, as compared to the situation that is being presented to you. You determine in that original rush of aligning energy, that adrenaline rush, whether or not the circumstance is in fact aligned with your preferential energy. If it is not, you can simply recognize that fact and be on about your life. If it is, the idea is that you would generally not experience that particular kind of energetic rush. But if it is not, and you experience that rush that lets you know what is your vibration, and by comparison what is not your frequency, what is not your truth at the moment, what is not your reality, what is not your choice, there is no need, beyond that point, to continue to assess it and judge it as being invalid or anything less than the choice that you are making. It is simply a recognition, an opportunity to recognize that it is different than what it is you may prefer. Now, when you thus choose to continue to amplify the anger in a negative way, in a judgmental way, and you perhaps project and lash out at others, angrily, as you say in your language, you can recognize this is very similar to what you would call a rocket blast, a blast of flame leaping out for the purpose, for the intention of singeing and scorching that person, that situation, where you intend to direct your anger flow. But if you recognize that all things, as you know in your physics, have an action and a reaction that is equal and opposite, just as the analogy of a missile or a rocket shows you, when the fiery blast is thrust from the bottom of the rocket, it goes in one direction, yes. But the object of your attention, the rocket, the missile, goes in the opposite direction. And that is where you really need to keep your attention. For if you thus lash out, blast out in anger at someone, you can recognize that while that thrust is going outward, that is an indication of where you really need to put your attention, which is in the opposite direction, inward on yourself. For there is no reason why any of you would experience the judgmental side of anger rather than the natural 15-second anger. If it were not for the fact that there must be some definition you have about yourself that you are angry about, which perhaps another person or another situation has reflected to you, has triggered for you, but is not the cause of. And thus when you project your anger on the other individual, thinking that they are the cause of how you feel, you are thus deluding yourself into thinking that there is not already a cause within you that has been planted within you in your definitions, in your belief of usually how you see yourself, how you define yourself, how you think of yourself. So always, if you notice, if you pay attention to the fact, when you do feel angry at another, allow yourself first and foremost to recognize that regardless of what they have done, the opportunity, the positive opportunity that is there in that circumstance for you, is to find out, by redirecting that energy back toward yourself in a constructive way, why you would have reacted to what they did in the way that you did. Because there is no reason for anyone to react in any way, shape, or form on any level emotionally until and unless you already believe within you something to be true to begin with. Some definition within you must already exist about yourself that they had the ability to trigger. But again, it isn't really about them. It's about you. Even if they have intentionally done something to perpetrate the idea of negativity against you, it still doesn't matter. The idea is still look for the opportunity where you can discover what definition, what belief system structure within you was responsible for why you would even feel affected by anything that they might have said or done in a negative way. Every situation like that is a golden opportunity to get back in touch with how you define yourself and how you can change the definitions of yourself in order to become the person you truly wish to be, instead of continuing to react off of the actions of others and letting them define who it is you are, which is the original reason why you have those definitions anyway, because more often than not, they most likely came from the telepathic pickup that you got from what you would call your parents, your relatives, your friends at an early age. Sending you telepathic messages or body language messages that this is how you were supposed to behave, that this is what you were supposed to think, and this is what you're supposed to believe about yourself. Because perhaps of the way that they believed about themselves, because of the way they were taught. But you don't have to do that. This is your age upon your planet where it is time to break the chains. Time to break the link, the continuity, and not allow yourself to just assume that the way you might automatically react to something because of the way you have automatically assigned a meaning to it is necessarily the meaning that the thing has to have. The idea is for you to get in touch with what meaning you would prefer the situation to have. How you would prefer to define its effect in your life, and to trust and to know that by changing that definition, you will in fact change the effect it has. For your physical reality can only affect you according to how you define it is possible for it to do so. And that is the only power physical reality has, based solely on the meaning and the definitions that your self-empowerment and your consciousness have allowed it to maintain. We thank you for allowing us to reflect this idea, which is now one of the aspects that your collective consciousness on your planet is exploring at this time, to the individuals present in this particular link. We thank you for the gift of allowing us to experience each and every one of you. For each and every time we interact with every one of you, we are afforded an opportunity to experience that many more facets of the multidimensional crystal of the infinite. And we thank you for that. In return for the gift you are now allowing our civilization to experience through this conduit at this time, I ask in what way may I be of service to you?